gorgeous, I'm the Fairy Voice Mother, and today I'm going to be analysing, oh, Keen Bean, The Who, Wolf Totem. Not that The Who. Just in case you're wondering why it sounds like I'm being strangled, I have an infection in my, it's not funny, bronchitis. As some of you may know, I am fresh from the Beatbox Festival. At the best of times, I don't have the strongest immune system, let alone being in an environment with multiple people spitting at you ferociously. In the name of music, actions have consequences. I'm wearing a nice lungy t-shirt today, sort of get the old lung energy going. Now this song has been requested for a while, and the rumour goes it's rather throaty. I've never heard of The Who. I've heard of that The Who. Anyway, let's get nice and cosy and see what the fuss is about. Sorry, I know it's barely started, I just can't help myself. It's funny how these kinds of sounds have lots of connotations with nature, like little birdies and stuff. And lest we forget that birds are the OG singers. Funnily enough, a lot of music that we describe as rootsy, a lot of the Indian classical music and that kind of thing, will usually feature just one drone note throughout the whole thing. These intervals sound so natural to us and remind us of all these natural things because these are the notes that naturally occur. So they're all in there anyway. I couldn't even let them start the bloody song, could I? D flat. Well, look at that fusion. The old and the new. Oh. Ooh, this -7 interval. And if there's 8 notes in the scale, that means it's just one under what we would want for it to sound stable. So, very stable. Not so stable. It's very dramatic while making it even more doomful, definitely not a word, by stepping it down to a bunch of other weird intervals. This, 6th. And then it does actually go to a 5, which is a much more normal one. And that's the resolution. Tense, tense, slightly less tense, but still tense because we have the 7. So it's just a lot of tense and then slightly less tense, but still. Not to mention the attack on those pitches. It's not so soft like my piano. Although these are the same notes, it doesn't give you anywhere near the same feeling as the attack on those strings. Strings are so emotive in this way, and they can be very closely compared to singing, because singing we always talk about how the note was onset if it was oh, as opposed to oh, we get a completely different feel. The first one was quite aggressive, the second one was quite sorrowful. Bloody music's just so bloody cool. And that whistle over the top was really dissonant too. Oh, hello! The entrance of the rock instrumentation doesn't come as a full surprise because the motorbikes and copious leather was a bit of a clue. But it was really tastefully inserted. Why did that sound so weird? It was arranged in a very classy way. A few cheeky strums of the old power chords there on that really dazzling electric guitar slash spear. Are those for sale? And then we get our rock kit layered over the treble drums. None of what we had originally drops out. The other stuff is just gently layered over the top. And this is what music's all about, you know, fusion of genres. So I'm into this in a huge way. Oh, this is so cool! I don't feel cool enough to even watch it. So this kind of throat singing vibe we've got going on here gets by with a little help from one's false folds. And if we A-B those two sections, like little versey 1, little versey 2, we notice that they both have that false fold engagement, but the first one is less compressed, is a little bit more wild. And in the second one, notice the little rumble that you hear, those false folds engaging, are far more consistent. And that is largely because the difference in space inside the vocal tract. So the first one was a little bit more wild and free in the vocal tract, lots of space, lots of and in the second one, we've sort of narrowed the space, and that's encouraging everything to work a little bit smoother. When we experiment with this kind of false fold engagement, it can sometimes be quite irritating. The best way to turn it on, and just to see if that's something that's coming naturally to you, is to try a little throat clear and see what comes out. So like a or you could try a little Christina Aguilera growl, like a hey, like that kind of thing. If they don't want to flap, just give them a little kiss goodnight and come back tomorrow, because at the moment that you force them, bad things start to happen. It's kind of like when you're training your muscles to do anything. Like if you want to start learning how to do the splits and you're not very flexible, you have to just do a little bit at a time and see if it will go. So anyway, little versey B. One way to get into the super compressed sound is to do like a Pingu impression. Or if you do the word bird really slowly in an American accent, like bird. And the false folds connecting at the same time are obviously making a really interesting texture. The vocal tract is shaped in that really specific way, and the resonance that he's producing with all the folds is bouncing off. I'm gonna whip the flute out for another analogy. And a bonus ukulele. Without the hole, that's where the vocal tract comes in, right? This is just a tube with a bunch of holes. It has no strings, yet that's why a singer can create so many seemingly infinite sounds, because there's many sources of sound, like, you know, the true vocal folds and the false vocal folds, and there's many things that can manipulate those frequencies on the way, like the tongue and the vocal tract and moving the larynx and all that kind of thing. So there's a lot to love rhythmically about this. It just keeps stacking on. We've got the tribal sort of drums, then the rock kit, and now the huh on the 2 and the 4, like a snare, but a huh. And the fact that it's huh, it just gives it a lot of punch. It's just huh. Ooh! There was a little cheeky huh there. A little huh Does the who stand for the humans? Is the problem with the humans? There's almost like a mini muted, like a wee grunt in the one before it comes out that it's a full-on who. That who doesn't feel new. We've had it before, we've just had a lesser version. And that is a really good thing to do in terms of arrangement. When you sneak things in or allude to things and then bring it in for real, the listener is like, oh! It's a surprise, but it's not a shock. This is a really random comparison, but all the ABBA songs have the chorus melody in the intro. Like a little trailer for what's to come. Sounds like it's crying. They don't stand a chance. Oh, this feels like it's going to be a build-up. Let's gather ourselves. This little swarm of motorbikes did remind me of, you know, when you see the birds go in a V when they're migrating. That's it. That was my comment. Oh, I love a build-up. Oh, I love this pulse. Amazing. I love that because that instrument is very, very birdy. Ugh. The way that that little screech of the strings transitioned into a little tweety sound at the end where we began. Wow. If you build them up, you need to know how to let them down. Oh, I get it. I get it. 85 million well-deserved views. This just makes my soul smile for so many reasons. Because, like, we all love a bit of rock. We do. But what this kind of music does is it gives you everything that you love about your favourite genre, But it's like, how about a little sprinkle of throat singing in with that? And some instruments that you may not have heard before, like the Beatles using the sitar in their music.
Da, da, da. That's it. Go on.
These genres need to regenerate and feature different instruments, because otherwise you get music that's kind of inbred. The same instruments, the same themes, the same kind of vocals, just spit out in subtly different ways. And this will prevent the tragic inbreeding of music. They're doing the Lord's work out here. So one of the coolest things about this, if I'm not mistaken, is that it doesn't change chord like the whole time. It's got this constant E flat foundation upon which they're free to build so many different sonic experiences. It's almost as if, because this element of it was really simple, they could get more creative with the melody writing. This is another reason sometimes that all songs sound the same. The melody has to go somewhere quite boring to match with the chords that keep on changing, yeah. But with this as a foundation, we can go anywhere. And then you get the chance to experience what relationship that each of the notes that you choose in the melody has with this note. Not to mention that when you keep the same fundamental sort of bass line note chord thing, you can always add overtones and they will always sound good. And perhaps that is why, coming to think of it, they do it in a lot of the Eastern genres. A lot of the Indian classical music actually has a very pure, intense tone in an environment that would create a lot of harmonics. So perhaps in conclusion, the more interesting and full the textures and the sounds and the harmony is in the actual voice production, you don't need constantly changing chords in the music, because that's interesting enough on its own. Interesting. I don't really know a whole bunch about throat singing. I'm still researching it at the moment, but I just think it's so beautiful. You can kind of just swim in it and immerse yourself and listen to a 25-minute version. Like the freedom in the vocal melody, and then with the string instruments, which I have just looked up what they're called. One of them was called a tovshord, and there he is, giving it the big un. But the other one, the morinkur, one legend about the origin of the morinkur is that a shepherd named Namjil the cuckoo received the gift of a flying horse. He would mount it at night and fly to meet his beloved. A jealous woman had the horse's wings cut off so that the horse fell from the air and died. The grieving shepherd made a horsehead fiddle from the now wingless horse's skin and tail hair and used it to play poignant songs about his horse. It's just what anyone would do in that situation, really. And aren't we glad you did? I enjoyed that so thoroughly, and I think it has actually started to heal me. Like, you know, apparently when cats purr, it heals you. That frequency, they're like, and this is kind of similar. Maybe if I just put this on loop for like the next few hours, I'll make a miraculous recovery. But let's do today's oracle card. So we have, you can do the thing from the mandrake of motivation. Find your motivation team, even if it's just you cheering you. Have dreams, fly high, stop making excuses, as motivation is always on tap. If we said, if you are not feeling motivated, then it means that it's not for you right now, would you do it? So there we are. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I enjoyed making it. If there are any singers you would like to see me react to, please do let me know down below in the comments, as it is always my pleasure. Don't forget to hang out with us for our premiere. If you're here with me at the premiere, then big premiere hug for you. And if you're not, then big hug for you anyway. I hope you have a wonderful day. I love you so much, and I cannot wait to see you again next time. Bye! I'm gonna try and do a little demonstration.
When I sing a normal E flat on like an R, you can see the presence of the overtones start to appear. But with some manipulation, we can start to amplify some of those frequencies deliberately.
Threatening, looming unrest. So the kind of sound that we can make with a string it's Thursday night, everything's fine, except you've got that look in your eye when I'm telling a story and you find it boring. You're thinking of something to say, so go along with it and drop it and humiliate me in front of our friends.